Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly astrology and pick a card reading. This is for February 8th to the 14th, 2021. It's going to be a little bit different this week, and the reason why I'm doing it differently is because of this lineup that we have in Aquarius. Thanks to, I think it was Warm Bunny, she asked me whether I was going to do that this week, and I am going to talk about having 6 planets in Aquarius this week, which is quite rare. So it's rare to have a lineup like that, and also we have a new moon in Aquarius. That's part of the 6, and there's also an asteroid, also the asteroid Pallas is also in Aquarius, so kind of 7, but I don't count the asteroid as a planet, but it's still an influence. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to run through the weekly astrology like I normally do. Then I'm going to go through each sign, which I don't normally do, and tell you what to expect for this lineup in Aquarius and how it's going to impact your sign. So if you it's better if you go by your rising sign if you know it. If you don't know your rising sign, for what I'm going to explain, you can focus on the sun sign. Okay, so but as I said, it's best to go with the rising sign. I'll get to that in a second. So just first of all, this week we have the Saturn Uranus square exact actually today on Monday, so the energies are very strong in the collective, in the atmosphere. There is this highly strung energy, and that also is partly to do with all the Aquarius energies. So a lot of us are very much in our thoughts. We're very much in the higher chakras. So it is very important to be grounded at this time and to have your feet on the ground, to not get carried away with thoughts, especially if they're negative. So watch out for that. Now, you know, Aquarius, like every other sign, does have a dark side. So, you know, the dark side of Aquarius is extreme views on things that can be very bizarre, that can be very left of field, that can be very against sort of other people, which is very odd because you'd think, well, Aquarius is a very humanitarian sign, it's a very people orientated sign. Yes, in the positive expression of Aquarius, but on the dark aspect of Aquarius, it's the loner, it's the energy of I'm too different for this world, I'm too I need to keep myself very separate, and kind of to the point of loneliness. And, you know, the Saturnian side of the Saturn side of Aquarius. Saturn is dignified in Aquarius, but when Saturn can be very cold in Aquarius. So, you know, that's sort of one aspect of the lower nature of Aquarius, is to feel like it's either above others or too lofty or too separate or too cold towards others. So, you know, that's one thing with this stellium that we're having in Aquarius, is to be aware of the importance of how you see life and how you see yourself as part of life. And, you know, I really see, actually on a bigger picture level, this energy as kind of a choice point, because it is symbolic of the age of Aquarius, of moving into a higher vibration. And, you know, at this time, I feel that it is a choice point for people to decide, you know, what path are they going to choose? Are you choosing a positive path for yourself, an open-hearted path, or a destructive path, or a very negative path? So I do feel this time is actually very important. And, you know, for the people that are aware, which I would say majority of people that watch any kind of astrology videos in general, majority of people do care about self-improvement, self-awareness and things like that, and living a happier life. And so, you know, what I'm saying here is there are some people that are on a very destructive path that may not be aware of, you know, certain things, and maybe choosing at this time to go into the lower energy of Aquarius, you know, which can even be like on the extreme low end of Aquarius. It can be perversion, it can be being extremely at odds with other people and creating chaos wherever you go. You know, the dark side of Aquarius is creating chaos and stirring up opposition, stirring up negative energy for the sake of it. So that's interesting. The other side of the good side of Aquarius is humanitarian, is loving, interacting with people and enjoying connections with people, and being open to the flow of life, being open to the higher energies of the divine, of the higher self, of wisdom that comes from knowledge, true wisdom that you live by, that's just not just a thought, not just an ideal, but something that is actually pragmatic. And that's, you know, Saturn, as I said, is in dignity in Aquarius, and Saturn is a very practical energy. So ideally, with Aquarian ideals, you want to live by those ideals, and it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, no one is, but just knowing that, you know, this is a choice point with all this energy in Aquarius. And what are you choosing for your life? Are you choosing to live in an ideal version of your reality and striving for that? Or are you choosing to be in the negative side of Aquarius, like I just explained? So I feel like that's part of it. Now, with Pallas, the asteroid, being in Aquarius, that's also interesting because the asteroid Pallas symbolizes creative intelligence, wisdom, and effort, and sometimes also difficult decisions in regards to relationships, or having to ask yourself difficult questions about your relationships and taking actions accordingly. It can relate to that as well. Pallas can also relate to the father figure, which is interesting because of Pallas being in Aquarius and Saturn being dignified in Aquarius. Saturn again can be authorities, can be father figures, can be the government, can be people in power. So there's a lot of connecting energies at the moment that I find fascinating, and I really feel like this is a turning point for awakening for a lot of people and for a new ideal path. And also, you know, Aquarius energy is very much future orientated, and you know, we're often told, you know, in order to experience peace from anxiety, come back to the moment. And there is truth in that, and there is beauty in that. Definitely beauty to be in the moment, to experience joy in the moment. But as human beings, we have the ability to project forward in our minds and think of our futures. And the Aquarian energies coming in are getting us to think of our futures, and what does my future look like? What do I want my future to look like? What are my actions right now creating tomorrow for myself, creating for the next day, creating for next week? Am I in a mind-numbing pattern, or am I choosing positivity and choosing, you know, making choices? And we all have different levels of free will depending on our personal astrological chart. But, you know, one of the laws of the universe is free will. So we don't have complete free will while we're down here. We have some free will. So, and again, as I said, it depends on your personal chart and what you're dealing with from past lives and what you're trying to heal in this life and so forth. But these things can be quite complex. But anyway, my point is Aquarius is a future orientated sign. So we're looking at how we're living our lives and what that means for our future. And with Pallas, it's about effort again, as I said. So putting in the efforts now to reap a better future for yourself. So, and it comes down to the quality of your thoughts, because it's an air sign with all this Aquarius. It's all to do with thinking, to do with self-belief, and the practical actions you're taking moving forward. And there is an element with Aquarius that has a quality of the unknown to it. So there is this element of trust, I feel, as well, as we take steps forward. So that's to do with the Aquarius stellium. And when I'm going to talk about the rest of the astrology, then I'm going to come back to each sign and what to expect with the Aquarius stellium. So the other stuff this week, we're still in Mercury retrograde, guys. So that's happening till February 21st. I mentioned it last week. So the usual stuff applies with Mercury retrograde. It doesn't have to be negative. It can be a little bit sort of a heady mix because of all this air energy. So we can be very much lost in our minds at times and overthinking and kind of a bit scattered. That's a feature of a lot of Aquarius energy and the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, of course. The new moon in Aquarius happens at 23 degrees of Aquarius on the 11th of February. So if you have anything around 23 degrees of an air sign, that will be positive for you and interesting for you. New developments coming in if you have anything around 23 degrees of Leo or Scorpio or Taurus, that could be a little bit challenging in some way with your emotions. Around also the time of the new moon, from the 11th to the 12th, Venus squares Lilith, both in fixed signs. So Venus obviously in Aquarius, Lilith in Taurus. There can be some issues coming up in relationships around that time, something to work through, some emotions, some troubling feelings. And then again, also on the 11th to 12th, Venus in Aquarius conjuncts with Jupiter. So that can indicate a new start if you have anything around 11 to 13 degrees of an air sign. This is very good for you. It's an opportunity energy of some kind. It's abundance, it's growth. Can indicate new relationships, new connections, or a new path opening up. It would be more challenging for anyone with Taurus, Scorpio, or Leo around the 11 to 13 degree mark, roughly. Okay, let's get into now for each sign where the Aquarius stellium is happening for you. So I'm actually going to start with Aquarius, since you guys have all this change happening. So all right, so for Aquarius rising, if you don't know your rising, this is for your sun. this is in your first house of your path, your identity moving forward. You know, where are you headed in your life? There's a lot of change around you guys. It's huge, sweeping changes. So anyone that's an Aquarius rising, the new moon's in the first solar house. It's, you know, it's all kind of stirring up a lot of energy. Look, if you're someone like your rising sign is more around mid-degree of Aquarius, some of this energy could also be in your 12th house. So I'll just mention that as well, because the 12th house is dredging out stuff from the past, is dredging out the stuff from your subconscious that needs to get cleared out, so you can really purify your subconscious, so you can revamp yourself moving forward, and starting to kind of change your values, the way that you think about your life, the way you look at yourself in life, seeing yourself as valuable, and moving forward with positivity and with a clean slate. So for majority of Aquarius risings, it's new starts, and this will be also because Saturn's in your sign as well, and that's a whole nother topic, but that will be, Saturn will be in Aquarius for this year and next year. This is a new path opening up, but it's a very real path that involves closing a door to the past and embracing a more positive future, hopefully for yourself, and endings and new beginnings. Okay, so in general, the new moon being in your first house as well with the stellium, it's a new beginning for you personally, for your life path, for the Aquarius rising people. So I'm going to go to Pisces now. So for Pisces, this is for most Pisces rising, it's in your 12th house. So again, similar to what I just said about some Aquarius risings, where it's like clearing out the past, clearing out the subconscious clutter, clearing out old paradigms, old ways of seeing life, things from the past, memories from the past, to do with friends or connections, people that you kind of felt like you had some bond with, or shared some similar ideals. You know, there's some kind of shift happening for Pisces in your 12th house with all this stellium there. You may be embarking on a new spiritual path, okay, and there may be a lot to learn on this spiritual path, and it's really awakening you, however. So, you know, those enlightened Pisces that are really going through a spiritual awakening, this is deep for you guys. And there may be a lot of dreams being triggered for the Pisces people at the moment with all that energy in your 12th house. It's a very creative time for Pisces as well, and it's also a time to surrender to the flow of life. For Aries rising people, or Aries sun, this is in your 11th house of friends and groups, and you know, your wishes, your dreams, what you want to aspire to. And it can also connect to, you know, things happening, new situations with friends, a new group of friends, new associates, bonding with people in an exciting way that is very new for you. So it's kind of opening up a new path in friendship and connection for Aries rising, Aries sun. It's also signifying a turning point with regards to a dream, a wish, or a goal. So something's going to be happening soon for the Aries rising people, where it's like, this is a new start, this is a new goal, this is a new path that's going to bring, it can even bring like connection with your tribe, like your people, you know, creative people, because it's the 11th house and it's Aquarius. So it's like a double whammy of Aquarius energy for the Aries people, and it's like you could meet people that really spark amazing inspiration for your life, new dreams, new goals, new visions, connecting with like-minded people online, socially, you know, social groups, being part of groups. And the possibilities are very open in a really exciting way there for Aries rising, Aries sun. Taurus rising, this is and Taurus sun, this is in your 10th house of career. So new opportunities with this stellium in Aquarius, with the new moon in Aquarius, in your goals sector, in your career sector, in your status. New pathways opening with regards to career, so some new opportunities can start to come up for you now moving forward. That's very exciting, and there may be something where you have to kind of break out of an old way of doing things in your career, in your goals, new beginnings in those areas. Gemini, this is in your 9th house of belief systems and the way you think about life, the bigger picture. Can also relate to sometimes legal things, legal situations, long distance travel, travel of the mind, spirituality, philosophy, mentoring, or someone mentoring you. So you're really seeking wisdom at this time, Gemini, and it's a good thing for you to seek that wisdom, because you need a new perspective for life to help you to refresh your mind and your soul moving forward, to establish new ideas, more expansive and open ideas. And the ninth house is a very joyful house, and it's about opening up to more joy, rather than sort of the other side of life, which might be sort of focus on negative things. It's like you want to focus on the positive now moving forward, Gemini. And so that's going to be very helpful to you. A spiritual mentor may be very strongly coming into your life, or you may go to somebody for advice that helps you get a different perspective, and more open perspective, and more clearer perspective. And so that's very positive, I think. For Cancer, this is in your 8th house of shared resources, shared money, taxes, inheritances. So there could be something around credit, loans, taxes, debts, but also other people's money, even inheritances. There could be some kind of breakthrough with some long-standing issue that you felt stuck in, to do with endings and new beginnings for Cancer rising, Cancer sun. This can be the house of, as I said, death and rebirth. So there could be changes with very significant relationships in your life, or intimate partners, or endings and new beginnings there for sure. And also it's an awakening energy also for Cancer, because it's in the 8th house. It's a very deep emotional house. So your emotions in a very deep way, Cancer, are getting really stirred up now with this stellium and the new moon. Leo, this is in your 7th house of partnerships. So big focus on Leo rising, Leo sun, your relationships, other people, collaborations, partnerships, contracts, bosses, work colleagues, who you're working with, who you're collaborating with, who you're partnering with, could be, who your boyfriend or girlfriend is, who your partner is. This is what's going through your mind, is your relationships right now, and how they're working. And maybe there's a new energy coming into your life in regards to new relationship energy, or some kind of shift in the way that you're relating with others, and more of a need to sort of work in harmony with others with all this energy, and for the betterment of others as well. Virgo, this is in your 6th house of work. So there could be big changes in work, new opportunities in your working life, and new opportunities with regards to wanting to be of service in some way, or wanting to do something that feels more unique to you, more of a signature energy or creative focus with your work and routine. And it could be helping others in some way, or being a service, or helping. Random acts of kindness as well come into it for the Virgo risings. It could be new dynamics in the workplace as well for some. Libra, this is in your your 4th, not your 4th, your 5th house. Of course, I just did the 6th house, yeah. So Libra, this is in your 5th house of children, romance, creative self-expression, projects, entrepreneurship. So there could be new ideas coming in if you're an entrepreneur or a business person, or there could be new ideas about something to do with working with your children. Like you may have some new beginning with your kids, like you might decide to homeschool, or you might decide to get your kids into a new sport, or a new creative outlet for them if you have kids. If you don't have kids, this could be romance. It can be new romance. It can also be new creative projects, or wanting to get in touch with something that feels like a new passion, a very exciting new direction could open up. Also, you're wanting to express yourself more in the world, Libra rising, so that's interesting. Scorpio rising, this is in the 4th house of family, home, your routine. Could be issues coming up with a particular family member, endings and new beginnings with family, changes in family dynamics. Can be some energy about a new beginning in the way you feel in your emotions. So for Scorpio risings, you may need some time on your own to process, what are you really feeling? What's really going on inside of you? How do you really feel about a situation that's very personal to you? Having time to think and process your emotions right now is really important for Scorpio risings as well. But there can be a new beginning in the home life, a move, changes with residents, changes with the dynamics in the home, changes with the home itself as well. Sagittarius, this is your 3rd house of your mind and your community, your interactions with neighbors, relatives, siblings. You could hear some news from a sibling that affects you in some way, or that changes something significant. There can be new information coming your way, new insights finding, you know, a new way of getting from A to B that's different for you, that sort of sparks some different thoughts or some new thoughts. The way you're thinking about your daily life is going through some kind of shift, and your day-to-day way of living might be changing in some way. But new information could be coming to you, Sagittarius, like books, information, spiritual insights. New neighbors can come in, other neighbors can leave, things like that. You may decide to write or communicate something in a different way as well. And Capricorn, this is in your second house of money earned, and, you know, thinking about money that you earn, you may be looking at making changes to money situations in some way, Capricorn. You may be looking at how you value yourself, and what needs to sort of undergo a big shift or a big change, some kind of new way of seeing the way you earn money or the way you value yourself, your personal belongings. You may want to lighten your load when it comes to, you know, do you have too many personal items? Do you feel that they're bogging you down mentally? Do you need to get rid of stuff and sort of revamp the way you do something to do with, you know, if you're hoarding items, or if you've got too many shoes, you know, it might be just very simple things like that you're like, you know what, those things are cluttering my mind. I need to sort of detox in some way. It can be a physical detox as well, where you just feel a bit ungrounded. Getting out into nature at this time for the Capricorns, rising and sun, can be very good as well. And that's it. So that is, I just wanted to go through that for the new moon because it's really strong energy. And I might just do, because I've done that, I might just do 2 cards this week for the elements. So I will start with the air signs this week, since all of that air energy, and let's do 1 tarot card and 1, make sure it's the right way, 1 tarot card and 1 angel card for the air signs. So we already have air energy coming out. Oh wow, we have an air card, which is a 5 of swords. I'm going to get 2 apparently. 2. So 2 tarot cards and 1 oracle card. So okay, so for the air signs, there's some disruptive energy around relationships here. So this is for Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. There may have been a falling out with someone from your past, and you're kind of thinking about things differently, or you have to make a decision, or you feel that you've made a decision, or you're in the process of making a decision, air signs, about relationships. There's some kind of choice point, some kind of decision to move on from something toxic or negative. Something's happening within the next few weeks in regards to a relationship. Interesting. Let's see what the Astro dice say for the air signs. Sorry, that was slightly off camera. We have the 5 of Swords, the Lovers card, and the within the next few weeks card. All right, so let's go to the Astro dice. This is for the air signs. Okay, interesting. We have Aquarius, which is clearly an air sign, and Neptune's come up. So Neptune and Aquarius. So there may be a spiritual connection with someone that's either a friend or more than a friend, and there's some kind of development happening in the next few weeks. So there may have been an argument for some of you. There may have been a fight or a disconnect with someone in the recent past, but some kind of shift is coming in, and because you had Aquarius and Neptune, it could be that for some of them have had some kind of spiritual realization, or you've had some kind of deeper spiritual realization about your connection with this person, okay? But something's coming up in the next few weeks. It could be that you hear from somebody from your past. You could reconnect with someone from your past, and it wouldn't surprise me because of Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So that does actually make a lot of sense. And then you may be sort of reevaluating things again from there. All right, let's go to the fire signs. So that will be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. What's coming up this week with all these energies in Aquarius? For the fire signs, fire energy. 7. Oh gosh, we have fire energy again. Love how it's so synchronous. Okay, so the 7 of Wands and the King of Wands. So, you know, you could be a Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries male watching this, or if you're not male yourself, you could be dealing with some competitive energies around you, or some male fire sign energy around you. So for some people, this is something to do with the workplace, some kind of tension I'm feeling, and for others it's to do with family. There's some kind of communications, or it could be a bit hectic this week for the fire signs. Could be a bit stressful in some way. Okay, so what is the angel message for the fire signs this week? Oh, jumping card. Oh wow, abundance. So that's good. Okay, so there's some energy here of abundance around you, some kind of new opportunity, some good news. I'm just going to get you 2 of the Astro dice for the fire signs, Gemini, and the 6th house. I did say work. So the 6th house is work, health and routine, and you have Gemini. Communications, I did say something about communications could be a bit hectic this week. Yeah, I do feel that with Gemini in the 6th house. It's a very highly strung energy. It can feel a bit like very busy. Your days are going quite fast this week. Fire signs, there's a lot going on. Good news with the abundance card though. So it could be a lucky week financially for some fire signs out there, so that's good. And I do feel it's quite a busy and hectic week for a lot of fire signs, especially on the work front. Okay, so the earth signs, and that is for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. What's happening? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. These ones are literally just jumping out. Oh my gosh. The Tower, great. And 3 of Wands. Okay, so for the earth signs, there's a bit of hectic, difficult energy. There could be something that happens suddenly. This is Mars, so it could be sudden argument, sudden flare-up, sudden emotional outburst from somebody. Could be a male person. Look, it doesn't have to be, and don't forget these are very general messages. So there is some strong energy coming in this week. It does say no need to worry. I love that, because the earth signs, you know, especially Virgos and Capricorns, prone to worrying. Like, oh, who am I going to have a fight with this week? But it says no need to worry. It's going to flare up and then dissipate. So there might be a bit of drama this week for the earth signs. With the 3 of Wands, there's also this energy of you sort of trying to plan a little bit for your future. Like, what am I going to next? You know, what's happening next? And there might be some kind of flare up, like with someone about what you want to do, about your path moving forward, or someone doesn't agree with something that you're trying to do, or an aspect of something that you're trying to do. But with the no need to worry card, it's very reassuring. It's saying, you know, you don't need to get too preoccupied with this, because it will resolve itself somehow. Let's look at some astro dice for Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. Oh, funny. Saturn, which rules Capricorn, comes up. So, and the 10th house, well, Saturn rules the 10th house, so that's interesting. So this is to do with your goals, your vocation, your career, your next steps, you know, where you're headed in your life, what you want to achieve. And it could also have something to do with authority figures, like a father figure, okay, because Saturn does represent father. Saturn 10th house is, in astrology, the axis of the parental axis, so there could be an issue with a parent for some of you. And you know, not all of you, or there could be an issue with someone in authority. That could be anyone that you look up to that has authority. But you're very determined this week. There's a strong energy around you, earth signs, of, look, I need to get focused. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm following the path that I want to follow. So that's really cool. All right, and the water signs lastly, and then I'll finish up. And this is going for a full 30 minutes. So if you'd like to book a reading, go to my online store. The link is below. What's happening for the water signs this week? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This one. Ooh, 2 of Cups. Wow. And the Emperor. So a relationship energy. Again, we have quite a dominant male energy, Aries type energy here with the Emperor. There could be someone coming forward to you regarding a relationship, and we have the Success card for the water signs. So there is success around you this week. Especially in regards to a relationship connection. May have been dealing with someone a bit difficult, or a bit bossy, or a bit domineering, but something will resolve. And again, it's general, so it's not for everyone. Let's see what else. Mars. How funny we got Mars as well, because that is Mars energy. Mars rules Aries, right? So that's come up. The 9th house is beliefs. So you could have clashed on beliefs with somebody, water signs, because someone was being too dominant, too controlling, or too aggressive. And it is someone that you do care about, and it's saying that this will somehow resolve in some way. For some people, this is to do with father energy, because this energy is quite strongly father figure energy, and it can be something is going to work out favorably in regards to a father figure or an authority figure in your life in some way. All right, guys, so those were the messages for the week ahead. A little bit different this week. Hope you enjoyed the reading, and please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook business page as well. Have a great week, guys. Bye.